Pastoralists are experts at navigating change. For thousands of years, they've adapted and thrived in these fast-changing landscapes, and their hearts are at the center of everything they do.
This pastoralism is our primary source of livelihood. That is where we solve our problem, our family. My dad doesn't have bank account, he doesn't have any financial income, but he only rely on this animal. When there is problem in the family, he will sell and solve the problem.
Hiyo mfugo nafuga inanisaidia kwa upande ya kuuza kukula, kwa kupeleka watu kwa shule. Fanya vitu mingi sana yote. Ndio hiyo tunategemea si Waturkana.
More than 200 million Africans are pastoralists. They supply most of Africa's meat and milk. But pastoralists are under pressure like never before. For decades, governments have sidelined pastoralism, seeing it as outdated, unproductive, and irrelevant to Africa's future. And this makes it harder for pastoralists to adapt to new challenges.
Movement is key, but when you restrict a pastoralist in one place, it's just like telling him that go and die with your cattle.
Yeah, that is keeping now a boar, kadir or camp.
Hapa kwetu hapa kuna shida ya maji. Kama hakuna mvua, mali zinakosa maji.
Despite what outsiders may think, pastoralists are not stuck in the past. They are constantly innovating and adapting. The question is, how can NGOs, governments, and businesses support what pastoralists are doing and work with them to make the drylands more peaceful, prosperous, and resilient? In Bor, South Sudan, annual floods are becoming more severe and widespread, making it harder for pastoralists to graze their cattle.
Yeah, that is keeping now a boar, kadir or camp. Man, walk on, Kaja, and you walk on, keeping now pew. A dear Ben walk on. Everybody, Bijala, talk a lawyer, and one reader. Look on you, keeping young pew tongue. Manaka can one. And get young job, bring in Nicodom.
But pastoralists are used to dealing with change. Some Dinka people always have fished. Now, during the rainy season, more people are switching from livestock to fishing and making an opportunity from the floods.
The time when our place are flooding here, they displaced the people. But in terms of fishing, it is good because when there is more water, the fish are more. That is why it is good to us. But when there is a few water, there is no more fish because fish they like more water. So that is why the fish are more here in Bo Town.
And that means good business.
Yes, that is a good business.
This expansion into fishing is particularly benefiting Dinka women.
Londiania loy. Ana loy rai. Gallery chiriye. Buti baba lora ya wai. Londiania na loy. Yena ya yo na ngupia ti loy ya. A chan tu cha cha go. Kwa chan go cha cha ke go. Kwa chan go ti loy. Yela mi ti to pole. Kwa na nong ka ti chen ka.
These days, most of the traders in Bor's fish market are women, and that's starting to shift traditional gender roles.
Kin tiang ber nyen ngong bor na. A bor ko wa cha pyat. No ran de galaya, wa no ran nong monya den go, wa no ran ja du bando. E di ka bor.
Diar ka jongulei. Alwai gam. Ko ka mu mis. Ko ka kwen mis. So dia lu yelon alang ke pia lu ke bai ke man chi we ka ngen wa to te dior ka ga ko dia ta wa to ku ka ju cha chi nim ro ko ke kai dia.
It's a powerful example of drylands people adapting and innovating, pastoralists responding to crisis not with despair but with self-reliance and creativity. Pastoralism depends on moving herds from pasture to pasture in response to rainfall and to find grass and water. But pastoralists are losing their traditional grazing areas to a growing demand for land.
Movement is key, but when you restrict a pastoralist in one place, it's just like telling him that go and die with your cattle, and that is his only means of livelihood. For instance, we have thousands of grazing reserves that has been taken over by farmers. This grazing reserve were designated far back 1963, and it has been gazetted in Nigerian law.
As rangelands in northern Nigeria are converted to farming, pastoralists and farmers find themselves at odds. And this can lead to violent confrontations.
Say waruma wara naidi. Kobe nokka naidi me dilli da imaji ahotatangi ali. Hanjo woni masala amin no maladde den be kadinde. Be kawta e mawbe be pade mawde be kadi ladde ne. Na e ngon kusan to gure mango nyalla. Kullum hanka kan har joni. Joni ni Kenya mai mi wodi joni ni mai mi wodi nagge to wuro. Pidange Kenya. Mi hoccenge e mota mi wartiringe joni ni ege to wuro.
On the 30th of April 2023, two of my younger brothers were killed, were slaughtered like a ram. The senior one is 12 years old, and the younger one, the last born of our family, he was 9 years old. The person that did it was a well-known someone from the neighboring community.
The simple farmer-herder conflict that normally was resolved between two parties now become something for the community, and when it becomes a communal issue, everybody gets involved. And when everybody gets involved, you find that in most cases the the herder is always at a disadvantage. The entire community will rise up against maybe a small group of herders.
Remote drylands communities are often overlooked by government services. For pastoralists, accessing justice can feel impossible. But one local NGO, the Fulbe Development and Cultural Organization, or FUDECO, is helping change that.
FUDECO has provided lawyers for pastoralists who have been victimized, and FUDECO has provided guides on how to operate, and has also provided logistics to those that are victims to make sure that they get justice in the court of law. And equally, they have formed an enlightenment campaign within the Fulanis that, look, anytime you have conflict like this, don't take arms, don't revenge, don't go on a reprisal attack, take the matter to court.
People without access to justice can be tempted to take matters into their own hands. FUDECO helps them find justice in the courts, preventing tit-for-tat violence.
FUDECO have supported me financially, they supported me psychologically, they supported the family. It is through them that I know we need to employ lawyers to start following up the case right from the investigation. Since the community, they cooperated and they handed over the person that did it to the law enforcement, to police station. Currently, the case is in the court, and the person that perpetrated is in the prison, and the case is still ongoing in the court. It is important to seek for justice and not to take law into a hand. Seeking for this justice through the proper channel is the best way. Nobody is enjoying staying in a highly conflicted area. So I am calling up all Plateau citizens, all Plateau indigenes, those who are suffering from farmer-sellers conflicts. It is actually very painful to lose a loved one. I know what we pass through.
For pastoralists living in remote parts of the drylands, accessing services like justice is a simple yet critical way to support peace building and prosperity. In the drylands, obtaining enough water for households and livestock can be a challenge.
It is very important to have water in Ropoi because here is a borderline community where the pastoralists always lies during the dry season.
Hapa kwetu hapa kuna shida ya maji. Kama hakuna mvua, mahali sinakosa maji. Mvua ikiwa mahali napata maji kwa kwenda kwa Maxima, tunatuambia Maxima kuchimba ndio tupate maji.
Wakati ya kame unatafutia mbuzi maji mahali papote yenye iko. Tunaamaga saa zingine Uganda, tunaama hata huku. Ama fereji tukiona maji kama wakati mwingine ina nini. Mbuzi ikikuwa wengi, maana huku mbuzi nyingine inaama huku. Sisi nayo hapa hizi tunaanza tena kusonga.
Digging boreholes is an obvious way to provide water in these remote areas, and it's something that governments, NGOs, and other well-meaning outsiders often do.
Hiyo maxima juice vile lipatikana imetusaidia sisi. Imetuokoa hata kama kuna mvua ndio inasaidia mali yetu kukunywa.
Yet it is not so easy. Boreholes can have unintended consequences.
When we rehabilitate these boreholes, people will always appreciate the availability of water in that area. But at the same time, it will also attract a huge population of people and livestock. Once this happens, the ecosystem around that area is affected.
From within Oropoi, we have some pasture, but many people from all belts, from Lokichokyo, down Kakoma, from Kaikor, from this side of Yakwara, they do come here. And when they are grazing, they finish everything, everything. And here becomes just dry off without pasture. Therefore, even if people have water, it will force people to go to Uganda to look where the pasture, good pasture is.
And when those who dig boreholes don't make plans for ongoing maintenance, problems multiply. The Turkana Pastoralist Development Organization is a local civil society group that spends a lot of time rehabilitating boreholes that have not been maintained properly.
In Turkana County, so many boreholes have been drilled. Some of them have been abandoned just because of maintenance issues. With the organizations and government, they have been drilling these boreholes without the operations and maintenance component being put into these boreholes. So pastoralists use them and then they abandon. It's very important to have these pastoralists involved in decision making here because it affects them on daily basis. A stakeholder will come and make a decision that does not, in future support the people in that area. What we normally call a misdistribution of resources.
Too many borehole projects have wasted resources because they don't work with the community, leaving local people to pick up the pieces. More than 100 kilometers away, by Lake Turkana, a different approach is delivering better results for pastoralists. Lake Zone's Ward Development Committee is a locally led platform which brings communities together with government officials to decide what to invest in and where it should go.
The Ward Development Committee is formed because we discover in Lake Zone Ward there is a gap of the development and there is duplication of the projects. We come up with a criteria whereby we must give the priorities of our community. Through the collaboration of Ward Development Committee with the county government of Turkana, national government and partners, we have contracted the 2 dry fish stores in Lake Zone, and we have 3 secondary schools in Lake Zone Ward, and we have new 2 health centers.
This approach empowers pastoralists to identify their needs, which can involve diversifying into fishing and farming.
Kabla store ijajengwa, tulikuwa tunabaki tunatega samaki, tunapata tunapasua. Vile store imefika, imekuwa rahisi sisi kusaidia, sababu ilikuwa ngumu sisi kuandika na kuwapeleka kupata tena mtu cha samaki. Ilikuwa ngumu, samaki inaharibika na upepo unaharibu, tukukula tunapata na gonja mbalimbali.
And in the drylands, it is unsurprising that water is one of the key challenges.
The water that we have got through the partners and the county government, our people, they are using for the domestic animals, and now even they are using for farming.
Kalakarado apa katanangana kipi. Karekulo nyapotunga kipine kema mama nana. Harup yani abakalo. Yesigera do atine chiata Atu gelata ichebe na kwa kinti tuwa ni kwa kinti tuwa telam na rupiah ya bako ko atu gelata bako loko ayang tungal ko nga perete ama mekas alo itu ko ngana sasa ni beni punya mana naka ateriar ngutung adang teringa ka makana mojo ya kas to kandang sawat ya mama nana.
If we have fish, if we have livestock, and we have these vegetables, now our health will be good.
None of these interventions are new ideas. It's the process that makes the difference. When support from outside aligns with what pastoralists want and do, it is more likely to make a lasting difference and to be maintained in the long run. This approach can also work to strengthen supply chains, as one technology innovator in Nigeria is doing.
At Livestock 247, we are leveraging on technology to mitigate the spread of zoonotic diseases and also to revolutionize the livestock industry in Nigeria and in Africa at large. We have a key product which we call Animal Identification and Management System. So we use RFID microchip implants to identify the animals and also take the basic record about the animals, the environment, and also the farmer.
But as with boreholes in Turkana, coming in with predefined solutions can lead to problems.
When we try to conduct community entry and sensitization, we told them that we're going to use AirTag to identify the livestock. And then we realized that because of that decision, they were not accepting the product itself, just simply because we mentioned the air tagging.
It can be frustrating when your solutions aren't accepted, but there are usually good reasons if you listen.
A al'adance namu na Fulani, mu na farko wannan na kunni abin da ya sa ba ma son shi duk inda saninka suka tafi. Idan sun je guri akan iya ganewa shanu wane ne a can gurin saboda wannan abun. Saboda ba lallai bane su je su samu da waɗanda suke da irin wannan abun. Na farko kenan. Na biyu a al'adance ba kowane bahulatani ne yake so a rika cewa ai ga shanu wane can ga shanu wane can ba. Da nan na uku a al'adance bahulatani bai cika so shi ya je wurin da ba a san shi kuma a iya cewa ai shanun da suka sauka can ga irin abin da suke da shi.
To them, their livestock are just like their account number. You don't want to show your account details or account balance to anybody. So they don't want that intrusion. When we realized that this is the challenge, and then we resorted to microchip implants because that is not conspicuous. It's going to be inserted under the skin and even it's more technically oriented.
Abin da ya sa muke son wannan wanda ake sa a cikin fata ba wanda ya san da shi. Shi yana nan a boye. Idan ba da wannan examination aka zo da shi ba a ganewa. Wannan asirrace yake. Shi yasa kowa yake son shi.
Pastoralists accepted the technology when it aligned with how they protect their herds and wealth. And by helping herders demonstrate their products' quality, the microchips enable them to access new markets and command higher prices.
The microchipping has different purposes. Number one is to identify the livestock. If you want to give medication, there is need for proper record keeping. You want to know the record of your livestock, individual record. So that microchipping will allow us to have a digital record of individual animal in the herd. You'll be able to trace the medication history, the batch history, and also the performance history that has been encoded to that microchip and then sent to our server there that will store the information. Another advantage is there is this traceability of animal products. So now the animal product, let's say meat or milk, can be traced from that particular farm to the market or to the consumer, using this traceability system of the microchipping.
Before Livestock 247, traceability was an issue. Anyone just goes to the market, pick livestock that are even sick, that may be sick,
But from their own inputs, through the use of technology, we are able to now track these livestock. The issue of traceability has been solved greatly. We hope to take this business beyond Lagos, beyond Nigeria, to be role models for Africans that safe meat is actually possible from farm to table. And this is what we want to showcase to the world.
Thoughtful, inclusive applications of technology. Livestock 247 shows how outsiders can support the livestock sector and benefit pastoralists, businesses, and consumers. Across Africa's drylands, pastoralists are driving positive change. They can thrive when given the chance. As these stories show us, governments, businesses, and others have an important role to play in the drylands, supporting what pastoralists are already doing, strengthening the systems on which they rely, and working with them to unlock the potential and dynamism of the drylands.